As European leaders wrestle with mounting uncertainty over US support for Ukraine, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk is calling for calm amid growing concerns about President Donald Trump's potential second term. Speaking at a press conference in Warsaw on Sunday, Tusk acknowledged Poland's precarious position, describing it as being in a very difficult place, despite not being at the epicenter of the geopolitical turbulence. Everyone realizes that a very difficult time awaits us, and Poland is in a special place, maybe not in the eye of this potential cyclone, but in a very difficult place. That is why it is very important that we remain calm, Tusk stated.
Everyone, all without exception. I have to say, it was also so significant. Whether it was the President of Turkey, whether it was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, or the leaders of the European Union, they want to take more responsibility for maintaining good transatlantic relations. Regardless of that, in what mood did they accept the election results? Everyone realizes that a very difficult time awaits us, and Poland is in a special place. Maybe not in the eye of this potential cyclone, but in a very difficult place. That is why it is very important that we remain calm.
Tusk's remarks follow growing speculation of a potential shift in the West's stance on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. While no official details have been released, the Prime Minister hinted that a settlement plan is underway.
Poland will constantly stand hard and unequivocally that the fate of Ukraine cannot be decided without Ukraine. Our whole tradition is nothing about us, without us. We should also respect these principles for our neighbors. So the solution, which everyone is talking about, although no one will publicly confirm it in public, but preparing this plan, is in the process. After President Trump takes over office, you can expect very quickly proposals for which we must be sure that they are accepted by Ukraine. We are talking here about both a potential suspension of fire, a deadline to when it would apply at what limit, what are the future safety guarantees for Ukraine, and all this will be absolutely unambiguous in the context. That is, Americans will offer solutions that will be in the near future and cost them less involvement in European and Ukrainian affairs.
The potential pivot toward a US withdrawal from active involvement in Ukraine would place an increasing responsibility on Europe. Tusk predicts Europe will need to assume a more significant role in resolving the crisis. The US withdrawal from active politics in Ukraine must lead to greater European engagement, he added. Tusk envisions a surge in meetings, conversations, consultations, negotiations, as Europe steps up its efforts in the coming months.
This is the potential withdrawal of the United States from active politics in Ukraine, which means for us, I would like to, and this is me and the Polish government's task, that Poland would not be alone in any of these variants. If there is less America in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, which probably means more Europe, then more Europe must always be evaluated by us by the criterion of our security. There are no simple answers here. Nobody wants to escalate the conflict. I do not want to engage Poland in any way in conflict, in the Russian-Ukrainian war, and at the same time, no one wants to weaken Ukraine, or, as some, even surrender, because it would be a fundamental threat to Poland and Polish interests at all. So I am waiting for a lot of meetings, conversations, consultations, negotiations, so that Poland maintains maximum security and stability in all of this.
The recent US shift in military support to Ukraine underscores this shifting dynamic. With over 500 interceptors on their way to Kyiv, the US has made clear its urgent commitment to assist Ukraine's defense in the face of escalating Russian missile and drone attacks. Yet, this surge in support comes as questions loom about the future of US aid. With Trump's victory in the recent election, concerns are rising that his presidency could result in a pullback of US support for Ukraine. Trump has repeatedly vowed to focus on domestic issues and end the war in Ukraine before his inauguration, creating unease among European allies and Ukrainian officials. The Biden administration is scrambling to ensure that Ukraine's air defense needs are met before the transition of power, signaling a sense of urgency in Washington. While $7 billion in military aid remains unspent, a mix of solutions, including sending contractors to maintain systems and acquiring arms from other nations, are being explored to meet these needs. Polish Prime Minister Tusk's remarks highlight the fragile geopolitical landscape as leaders across Europe seek to manage the uncertainty surrounding US involvement in Ukraine. With a looming shift in Washington, Europe is bracing for what could be a new chapter in the West's approach to the Russia-Ukraine war. As the clock ticks toward a potential change in US leadership, both Ukraine and its Western supporters are left wondering whether the support they have relied on will continue or face significant re-evaluation under Trump's administration. The months ahead are critical, with geopolitical ramifications that could redefine the future of the conflict.